Hey everyone, my wife likes to say that I'm a creative influencer. I don't think that's true. I still haven't convinced her to try Odd Shopper. And while I haven't convinced my beautiful, loving, perfect wife to try this tool, maybe you'll be influenced to try it. With their proprietary model overlaying an easy-to-use, profitable odds screener, Odd Shopper has just the tools needed to beat the books and take your gambling to the next level. So take it from me, Breezy, a pretty smart husband. Try Odd Shopper. Give us a follow, reach out when you sign up, and we'll help show you the ropes.
You took out all the stuff.
I did.
Yeah, that was a smart move.
We can't lose. No, we can't lose.
Enjoy it while it lasts. Gambling gods, fickle bunch.
Oh, yeah.
So easily
We
affected.
have a shooter and a good one coming out for a new point. Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen. He's a rolling point is 9, place 9. 9 a winner. Got a hot hand. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen.
They bet on absolutely anything. Don't make them prove it.
If you know what you're doing, you can invent a game for under $5,000 and then sell it and make a profit.
You're tuned in to Gambling with Good JuJu.
Welcome in, everybody, to Gambling with Good JuJu, where we bet Mystic Dan not because we're sharp, but because his name sounds vaguely like a former no-limit soldier. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Just search for Gambling with Good JuJu. We're also on the socials. Give us a follow at Good JuJu Bets, where we love to interact with fans, but mostly interact with each other. On this week's episode, we're learning more about niche casino games and how they get brought to market. We've brought on Heather Ferris of Vegas-Aces.com. That dash is important, just so you know, to talk about how they work with clients to create Carney games and bring them to market. But before we get to that, we've got a guest with us today. Old Jolly St. Vic is under the weather. Sounds like he might not have drank enough water yesterday. I don't know. Hopefully he's okay. We're not sure. It's almost always water. Just so you know. Not just with him.
In general?
In general, it's that with me as well. Right, Chris?
And that's what you always say.
Yeah. She wanted to start a jar and make me put in $1 every time I said I was dehydrated
This is true.
because I said it so often.
Yeah.
At least once a day.
So we've got a special guest in with us today. That voice you hear is the lovely Doc Breezy. You may be wondering who that is. That is my wife. Hi, Chris. How you doing? Welcome into the show.
Thanks for having me.
Are you excited to be here with us?
Just so excited.
Yay. Do you know why we asked you to come on the show in place of Kurt this week?
Because Kerr was sick and I was your last resort.
Wow.
No, we want to
Spot on.
introduce all the random cast of characters in here. But my beautiful wife here happened to be with us this weekend as we celebrated May the Horse Be With You. And with that, let's kick off the heat check.
Yeah, I don't think I know anybody that likes going to the casino more than Doc Breezy.
She might be the person who always insists we go.
I always go, though.
You do go.
For the record, I don't enjoy it, but I go every time. Do I not?
You did ask for a moratorium, and we did go out a couple times without going. You got a little hoodwinked this time because it was the Good JuJu 1-year anniversary.
That's cool.
party.
I get it. It was Kentucky Derby Day.
It was Kentucky Derby Day. We had fun betting on that. You picked a couple horses with me.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Your last $8, I chose a couple names I liked.
Mr. Dan!
I didn't choose Mystic
Oh,
Dan.
you
I
did
heard that was Lisa's pick.
Yeah, and myself.
Yeah, and mine.
Well, because y'all jumped on Lisa's pick, right? Didn't Lisa pick that horse first?
Oh, we're not going to get into the RJ and Lisa
Okay.
drama surrounding the Mystic Dan pick. We'll just say it was a team effort by them, and Breezy was smart enough to jump along for the ride for no reason other than they were yelling out Mystic Dan, and I wanted to yell it out as well.
Mr. Dan!
And then it hit. So we were really happy about that. We had a really fun time for the May the Horse Be With You and the Good JuJu 1-year anniversary party.
Yeah, happy birthday, Good JuJu.
Yeah. So we want to talk just a little bit about that because we did two things during that particular party. First of all, we kicked things off with a Derby horse race party at an Irish bar.
Of course.
At an Irish bar. the most logical place to do this.
With a Star Wars theme.
With a Star Wars theme, because it was May 4th. We
Yeah.
wrapped it all up into one. We dressed up for the Derby, threw in some Star Wars regalia, and called it a day.
Yeah, thanks. Shout out Doc Breezy for bringing the temporary tattoos. That was a fun hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate having those. I like the wrist look.
Oh,
we
thanks.
can get
yeah.
that a little more often on date night. Maybe we'll go a little henna.
Yeah.
I don't
Little
know.
more.
Do a little henna. The reason we want to talk about this isn't because we were just out partying. The thing that struck me the most with the horse racing derby was the fact that we couldn't even cheer for what we bet on together, RJ, outside of the winner, right?
Right.
So we each picked a few winners. Christy, you and I were on a winner. RJ and I were on a winner, and then we were each on our own things as well. One of them hit. That was great fun. And then I think it was 2 hours later when I yelled out in the middle of the field house, "Oh, we hit that other one."
We hit the exacta.
You remember that?
I had a lot to drink.
That's true. That is true. But I was in your ear with it. so-
Right. I mean, I put so many horses on my exacta. I had no idea who it was, and nor did I know who was in second.
Right. I didn't either. And even when I looked at them after the race before it cashed,
Right.
I didn't know because at that point I didn't know who finished second.
Right. I had no idea.
Yeah. So because I didn't know who finished second, it didn't help me to look at them. And also I didn't know what an exacta was. I was thinking I was getting 3 in a row there, but it was only 2.
I also didn't want to believe
Horse racing's great.
No, it's
I mean, it is
best.
great to do one
One day,
time, 2 minutes a year.
2 minutes here.
Really, it's 2 minutes. It's fun to pick them and to pretend you care about horse racing.
Yeah.
But now we have these free bets, RJ.
Yeah.
I don't wanna use them.
those. Yeah. No. I'll use them.
Here's
do
a
you
conundrum.
have to use them on horse bets?
Yeah.
Let me ask you
Ooh.
your opinion on this topic, Chris, because I've already asked RJ his opinion on this. I have to I put in $50 into DraftKings Horse to bet $50.
Future spot.
But I have to play through it twice in order to get $50 that I can then gamble. I've only gambled through it once. And the question is, do I want to even risk another $50 betting horses to get a $50 free credit to then I have to bet that on horses?
More horses. Yeah.
Or do
think
I just
you know
take
what
the
I'm
money
going to say?
Or should I take the money out?
Take
I think-
the money out.
I think she's going to say gamble more, bud.
You don't think I should gamble?
No, I should take your money back.
Yeah,
What
you
if we
won.
sat down together and picked out some horses and watched on the old
Oh.
FanDuel? We have FanDuel Racing TV on our YouTube TV subscription.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
We
yes.
could watch FanDuel horse racing, but we'd have to
Please,
bet it. We have to
Take
bet
the
it.
money out.
We have to bet it on DraftKings.
Yeah, that's fine. It's all the same horse races.
All right. So then the second part of that was after the horse racing event, we then
Yep.
went over to the Paradise Casino,
Boom.
our favorite casino in town, where we yelled about our upcoming interview with Heather Ferris.
Top 12 Midwest casinos.
It's slowly moving down.
We got to fact check that still.
I
I
still
said that
don't.
last time and got some flack.
He said top 10 last time. Now he's
Oh,
giving-
now it's top 12.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we'll see where he's at in a couple months.
But we had a blast.
Yeah, we did have a blast. We
RJ,
have
did
a
you
good
win
time.
any money?
No.
Neither did I. That's not what's
I don't think you
important.
lost any money, though. Didn't you pull it out when? Oh, I saw your head move.
I lost a little. Lisa won. So
Lisa always wins when I go.
She bought the drinks on Sunday.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I won.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you factor in the drinks and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I never win at the Paradise. So
No.
we're going to have to talk to Heather Ferris about how to fix that.
How do you win at the casino, Heather?
In the meantime, while we were at the Paradise, we did try out the new Muggsy's Corner, which you had
Muggsy's
given us a report a couple episodes back, if you remember.
Yeah.
That Muggsy's Corner was back at the Paradise, and now we find out that Heather Ferris actually helped bring that game to market.
Yeah. So yeah, that's back. And they replaced the all tall small with the big ones, little ones, and all of them.
I thought it was the Booms or Bus.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and Stevie wants to rename it this, that's, or the others.
Yeah, right. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
opportunity there at the
That's a little. Is that too inside baseball for you, Christy? Do you have any idea what we're talking about right now?
I was there when we played Muggsy's Corner.
Did you win?
No,
No.
Do you know what the all tall small is?
sort of. Don't really care that much, but I've heard of it. I've listened to the podcast.
Right. So the all tall small is the best bet in the casino, most likely.
The dealer did tell us not to bet Bugsy's Corner.
Yes, they're that's my favorite.
He said it won't win.
And what did I do? I bet it immediately.
Right, you're like, well, this is for science, pal.
And then I snuck in a picture, even though they got that sign.
Oh,
It
I
said,
forgot
"No."
you did sneak a pic. I
did,
forgot about
and I
that.
posted it on Twitter. Oh, did I tag? I forgot to tag Paradise. We always tag the Paradise after we take the pictures they tell us not to take, and then we post them on.
Shout out to Paradise.
Shout out to
I
Paradise
love that
Casino.
place.
So while we're on this topic, we met Charlie while we were there.
Charlie.
And Charlie has a game that he's interested in bringing to market.
Yeah,
So
it's called Charlie's Corner.
we're actually really excited.
No, it's not. Is it?
No. He didn't really give us too many details.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give away the goods. We don't want to give that away on the podcast. A little too much. But we're going to talk to her about Charlie and see if we can make ourselves the middleman there.
He is very excited about, he's a craps dealer, so he knows the game pretty well. And he's got a fantastic idea for we feature bet. We decided they're feature bets on the craps table. So yeah, hopefully we'll talk through that with Heather and give him a little guidance.
Did you have fun Saturday night?
I had a great time.
We ended up at the Valley, everyone. If you don't know what the Valley is, it's a little Quonset hut. If you don't know what a Quonset hut is,
Google it.
Google it. It's really awesome. It's a Quonset hut bar with a massive grass backyard to it with fire pits and other things.
Yeah, top 12 dive bars in the Peoria area.
Oh, higher.
Higher? Okay. Yeah.
Top 12?
Right, top 1.
Well, the beauty is you can walk there.
That is kind of nice.
We can walk there from our house. That is make it beautiful.
And anywhere you can sit outside. I'm a fan of.
Yeah, so shout out the Friendly Valley, future sponsor of the show.
All right, on today's episode, we're talking Carney games with Good JuJu. Casino carnival games. We all love them. We all hate them. This week, we're learning more about them. What is a Carney game, you might ask? Well, a random commenter on the Wizard of Vegas message board forum quotes someone named Elliot Jacobson as saying, "There's an unprecedented need for new table games in the market. These new table games are often called carnival games. These games are not for the serious player. The backbone of traditional table games consists of blackjack, roulette, baccarat, and craps. The new breed of games include names like 3-card poker, Caribbean stud, Spanish 21, Super Fun 21, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and many, many more." So with that being said,
Have you ever played War?
I have played War.
Yeah.
Have
At
you?
the casino? Yeah, super fun.
So War is definitely, I mean, did you just read ahead?
A little bit, yeah, sorry.
So you asked me if I played the game that's my favorite one?
What's your favorite one? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have that at the Paradise, right? I'm sure they don't. They don't have that weirder stuff there.
We have a bona fide expert with us here, I just realized.
Of War?
Doc Breezy. You went on vacation with us one time to California. It was me, you, my mother, and father. And during that vacation, you and I went to a casino.
Oh.
Do you remember anything about that visit to that casino?
I just remember Van Halen playing a concert outside when we left.
Do you remember what games we played?
No, I don't remember anything about the inside of that casino. But I don't think we were drinking. I think we were under 21.
No, we were definitely 21 at that point. It was the summer between our junior and senior year in college.
Well, yeah, I don't remember the casino at all.
Yeah. I thought we played War there.
I played
it. Was really weird.
I played it quite often at the old Paris downtown or on the strip in Las Vegas.
But you don't remember if you played it either? You're just asking me?
Right. I expect you to have a far better memory of all this than me. I have no memory of anything that's happened in like my 20s, early 30s.
Well, that's really sad. I do, but I don't remember the
Not
inside
the
of that casino at
casinos.
all.
Christy's like, that's a conversation we're going to have off mic now.
I wonder if I remember every time I've been in a casino.
Absolutely not. No way. Not even a third.
Oh, boy.
RJ, what's your favorite Carney game?
So my favorite, thank you for asking, Breezy. My favorite Carney games are, I got a new little infatuation with the Ultimate Texas Hold'em after our last Las Vegas trip. It's kind of fun. It kind of makes you pretend you're playing poker, which is kind of fun. And like you get a little mini jackpot every once in a while, which is fun, right? 3-card poker, also enjoyable for some of those same reasons. These games are silly with a high house edge, but every once in a while you win a bunch of money like a side bet on a blackjack table. So it's fun.
Do you know what the difference in the house edge is?
I think on 3-card poker, I think it's like 17%.
What's the standard house edge on a table game?
Like a couple percent.
Couple percent.
Yeah, like if you play if you place bet the 6 and 8, it's like 1.7%.
Is there any middle ground games?
Between those two?
The traditional games are all seem to be very low percentage to the house.
Yeah.
And every other game seems to be like double digit.
Good question. I mean, that's what the casino wants, right? Make it more fun and a higher edge.
Right. Well, like you and I talk about this, how we'll sacrifice some of the EV on the most boring way to play craps in an effort to get more entertainment by playing some that maybe we're giving 5% edge. Like we won't play the ridiculous things that have, minus 20% edge or whatever.
Right. Yeah, so, good question. Like I don't know how to play Spanish 21 or Stud or Mississippi Stud or any of this stuff. Honestly, I've never played any of these games. So I don't know. Maybe the house edge is 10%.
Well, I have played War, and I don't remember the exact rules of it, but I remember it being extremely mundane.
You know what? I played it. It was the only table game in the Paris casino at the time that had a $5 minimum.
And did you find it boring?
Yes, absolutely. Right.
Now,
they basically looked at me like, what are you still doing here? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I should probably wrap this up.
The only real correct answer to the most fun carnival game in the history of carnival games is 3 dice football.
Right.
And we're going to bring this up with Heather here in a minute, but 3 dice football is a game that existed only at O'Shea's right before we happened to go out for RJ's bachelor party. We were super early to the game. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. It was a blast to play.
Right, because it had football in the name.
So why aren't we having more fun with table games like that?
Right, yeah. Right.
That's what I want to know. That's the questions I have. Christy, do you have any favorite carnival Carney games in a casino?
I don't know that I've ever played one, unless I played War in California.
What is the activity in a casino Doc Breezy is least objectionable to?
Roulette.
Oh my gosh. Why are we not playing that when we go?
Yeah. Roulette's awesome.
If you speak up.
I thought you knew I liked roulette, but I also am fine to not gamble at all because then I don't lose money.
All right. So Saturday, we're going to play our faces off.
I don't think we have a babysitter, so I'm not going to be able to go.
We're not going to need one. Breezy's going to stay behind.
I'm in. You two go out, play some roulette.
No, I like roulette because you can do whatever you want. There's no rules. Nobody gets mad at you.
Nobody cares.
If you touch something, like I know when I cannot touch the stuff and otherwise.
Yeah, that's basically it.
You play blackjack, you hit when you're not supposed to and people get mad.
Right, that's those people.
Craps has too many rules.
Right, that's the worst. You know what I love about roulette is that, like you said, you can play it any way you want. The house edge is identical on every single bet. I don't know if you knew that. So it doesn't matter what you bet on. Just go for it. They're like, how much of the board do you want to cover? Do it.
And then when you win, it's like super exciting because you get right.
Right. It's awesome.
And you can pick whatever numbers feel meaningful to you because it is all random.
That's how they get you.
And there's nothing to how they spin
I'm not sure it is all random. I've talked to a few people.
I want to know, what do you think on that?
Oh, you've heard what I said when I went with Lisa and Michelle.
Oh.
Michelle's got a theory that works. I mean, it worked pretty well when we were there.
What is it?
Well, Michelle only bets red.
Okay.
But she doesn't sit down on a table until there's a dealer who's spinning the majority reds.
Ah, so she's
she
watching
feels
the sign.
She feels there's something about the flick of the wrist or something.
Yeah, I love it.
And I said, well, obviously every spin is its own spin. There's no
it doesn't remember
deviation based on the previous spin, but it worked, man. We picked a table. She was rolling mostly reds. I said, well, she's due for black. And Michelle said, no, she's rolling reds. And she was rolling reds.
So there is no true deviation unless she's correct. That
there might be something in the flick of the wrist.
Now, if we had a sports medicine doctor on this podcast, we could ask that individual, do you think that's possible?
I'm not really sure that's in the realm of what's studied.
As someone who's smarter about math than some of us, what do you think about the ability to control dice when you throw them?
Hold on, we're not done with roulette.
I think it's probably pretty random.
There we go.
They did find roulette wheels had a bias.
Oh.
Some guy figured it out, like
the wheel or the spinner?
Based on how the wheel would spin slightly off of its axis.
Okay.
It would provide a bias. And like this guy went and beat all the casinos. He'd have to study like spin after spin after spin. And so what they did was they ended up they randomized the spin now.
Okay.
So it speeds up and slows down while it's going. Like some casinos, the wheel never even stops.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Okay.
So
So how long
That's,
ago
that's
was this?
the wheel, not the
It was a
spinner.
while ago.
It was a while.
That's
Wasn't
the
like
wheel,
last
not the spinner, though.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good introduction to this. Let's learn more
Carnival.
about Carney games with Good JuJu. We're going to be up next here with our guest for the week, Heather Ferris. Heather operates an online trade school, Vegas Aces, that offers resources for casino dealers, players, and game inventors. You can find more on their website, vegas-aces.com. Don't forget the dash, unless you want to get a VPN and bet on a bunch of weird Carney games all at once. So stay tuned for that. Catch you on the flip side. Doc Breezy, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was a pleasure. Hi, how you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. How was your class?
It was good. No black eyes, no nothing like that. So all good.
Now, did I hear you correctly? That's Krav Maga?
Krav Maga, yeah.
That's awesome.
What is that?
That's like the female self-defense class, correct?
Oh,
Well, it's co-op, so there's men and women in the class.
Okay.
But yeah, we learn how to get out of chokeholds and how to fight and punch and kick, and we learn a whole bunch of different things. Like they put us in all sorts of different scenarios, knives, guns, that kind
Oh
of
my
a
gosh.
thing.
sounds intense.
Yeah. It's all, and it's
Yeah.
like an exercise class as well, right?
Yeah, it's a class in stamina for sure.
Yeah. So it's like exercise and you learn self-defense.
Wow.
Welcome to the show. This is Heather Ferris. She is owner of, and I keep correctly saying this, Vegas-Aces.com, an
Yeah.
online trade school for dealers and for casino game marketing and bringing games to market. Is that a pretty good way of describing it, Heather?
Yeah, so my website's vegas-aces.com. You're correct. My business is Vegas Aces Services LLC. We help develop casino game inventors' ideas, bringing them to fruition. So we do their felt layouts, we do lollipop signs, web demo games, rack cards, all sorts of things. And if they have if they need any consulting, we help them through the process of getting their game into the casino.
We're going to go through that because just so you know, Heather, we actually have a buddy who works at a casino here in Peoria. We were speaking to him with it about Saturday and he brought up a game of his. So we'd love to walk through just real briefly a real world example on this. But before we get into that, can I ask you a quick question? Are you familiar with the game 3 Dice Football that was in O'Shea's?
No, I'm not familiar with that game.
So it was a game that was in O'Shea's.
Old O'Shea's.
Old O'Shea's, and it was only in O'Shea's from about 2011 to 2018, 2019. Now, this game was removed from O'Shea's, and there's been like 1 or 2 sightings around it around the country, but it's kind of got a cult following behind it where like there's Reddit threads on this game.
Is it really?
Yes. And there's actual chatter out there about where did this game go and why doesn't it exist? When a game that's sort of popular or has a following in a place like that, what happens that it just disappears after that run?
Well, here's the thing. It is extremely hard to get your game into casinos. So for games like 3-card poker, high card flush, ultimate Texas Hold'em, you have about a 1 to 4% chance of actually getting to that level. That's like the superstar kind of level that you would get to. That's like going into acting and becoming I'm trying to think of a famous actor, Johnny Depp,
Yeah.
style. It's very, very rare. It's very hard. So just because they have their game in a casino doesn't mean that it is going to explode into other casinos right away. You have to go through a process, and we could discuss that process if you want, but it is extremely difficult.
Are there some casinos that are kind of known around the country as being more willing to trial and test out games and that have more fun with the carnival game type or niche game opportunities?
Yeah. Yes. So there are casinos that are more interested in having or trying out new carnival games. So, for example, Stratosphere is a big one that has a lot of new carnival games there. You'll also see new carnival games downtown, Las Vegas, as well as, let's say, the Gold Coast. You'll see it at the Tropicana, which rest in peace, Tropicana. You'll see it in other different places. Also, two different states are easier versus other states. Nevada is the gold standard for getting your game into a casino. That means it's harder to get your game into a casino in Las Vegas. Now, if you go to Washington, for example, that is extremely easy to get your game into casinos there. However, that doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. So, for example, with the games in Nevada, you have to go through the Nevada Gaming Control Board where they have a field trial. Washington doesn't have a field trial. A field trial says you have to have your game in this casino for 30, 60, or 90 days. We always tell our clients to do the most days possible. You get a larger sampler size. And then the casino is required by law to have a camera on that game and record it 24/7 and then write all the numbers down for that. You don't get that in Washington. So it's more stringent. There's more to it. Once you have those numbers and you have your game in the casino for a year, then it's a lot easier to get your game into other casinos. If you're in Washington, they don't have what Nevada has.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, but there's also a lot less you go through. So when you go to a casino and you say, hey, I have this game, they'll ask you, what are the numbers? How long has it been in that casino? If you don't have those numbers, that's kind of like a point deducted from your game. If it hasn't been in the casino for more than a year, that's another point deducted. They just are not as interested if you do not meet certain standards.
So that brings up, I think I've got like 3 different questions, but we're going to focus it in here so that I don't bombard you with too many things.
Yeah.
Here. So you're talking about, one, the regulatory side of things, right? Where you've got to be able to get your game through in Nevada, a whole lot of things that have nothing to do with just whether or not a casino wants to put your game on the floor. Is that the bigger hurdle that people are dealing with, or is still getting your game into a casino the bigger hurdle folks are dealing with in this process?
The biggest hurdle is there is only so much square footage in the casino. So if they put your game in, they have to take a game out. If they take blackjack out, for example, that blackjack game might be bringing in $30,000 a month. If your game doesn't meet $30,000 a month, they're losing money. So it's not good for the casino. You kind of have to sweeten the pot when you try to get your games out there. So one of the things we tell our clients in order to sweeten the pot is you have to offer one game for free for life.
Oh.
So yeah.
Okay.
And that's if the game succeeds, that's if the game fails, it doesn't matter. That casino owns that game for free for life, or to do it whatever they please with it. That sweetens the pot to get it in there. A lot of casinos, for example, Wynn, Bellagio, the bigger tier type of casinos, they don't want to take that gamble. So that's why they're like, yeah, we think your game is great. However, we need to see it in another casino for a year, and we need to see that it actually makes the money, that you say it's going to make.
Yeah.
So that way we're not taking out a $30,000 game to put in your $10,000 game. That's why they need those standards before they put your game into another casino.
So is the field test a part of that, or does the field test that you're referring to take place before you even get it in that initial casino?
So the field trial is just for Nevada. Every casino is different. When you go through a field trial, no matter what happens, you pass the field trial. And then you could put your game in any casino in Nevada that you want. So there's not like anything that you have to meet in order to pass it. If you go through it, you pass it.
Gotcha.
It's just they have to have the numbers. They have to go through the process of doing this.
When you say the numbers, do you mean like the true odds or the house edge or the payouts, or what do you mean by the numbers?
That's part of it. So casino game inventors give the math to the casinos.
Right.
And they say, here are the odds, here's the payout. And by following the rules that we give you and using the payout that we give you, we estimate that the house edge is going to be this amount. So they put the game into the casino. They watch the game. They have the cameras on it 24/7, and they're recording everything. They're recording how much the drop is, how much people play, what the actual profit is.
Gotcha.
And then after all of that, was this what we expected? Did this bring in the amount of money that we thought it was? Was the house edge the same as what we were told? There's just a lot of numbers involved.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing with the field trial.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Do you have a perspective from your years doing this on what are the characteristics that make a good casino game when you're trying to enter in a really crowded space like this? Not specifics, but what do you guys look for and say, oh, that's probably got something?
Yes. You want it to be easy. If it's too difficult, if it has too many rules, if it's too complicated, it's not going to go anywhere. You want the dealer to be able to explain the game to the players. Also, if you don't teach the dealers how to deal the game and they deal it wrong, that's going to be a flop for your game. So training's really important too. If they don't know what they're doing, if they can't deal the game, it doesn't matter how great your game is, it's going to flop. The other thing is advertising. And a lot of people don't think about this, but it's like if you invent a ketchup bottle and put the ketchup bottle in a grocery store, you can't just wipe your hands and say, I'm done, and walk away and it's going to do amazing. You have to advertise, you have to have commercials, you have to have that type of thing. Now, the hard part about that is some advertising and marketing is illegal. So you have to go through the Nevada Gaming Control Board and tell them we want to do this to advertise the game. And they either accept it or deny it because there are some things that are illegal. So it really just depends. An example of something that would be legal to do and that we've had some of our clients do in the past is we will have a showgirl go next to the table and give away free swag. And the free swag will have the name of the game on there.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay, that's good. And so you can do things like that in the present, like you can do those sorts of on-site advertising?
Yeah, we could do that. We could do social media advertisement,
Gotcha.
do Facebook ads, that type of a thing. Billboards don't work. We've had clients try to do billboards before, and the return on investment just isn't worth it.
Yeah.
So there are some things that work real well and other things that just kind of bomb.
Got it.
Gotcha.
All right. The little background story. We were playing, we went to the casino on Saturday after the Kentucky Derby, of course. And we're playing craps. And I think we were on different tables. And one of the dealers actually stirred up a conversation with you about side bets, right?
Right. Well, let me tell you, Heather, I was being myself, which means I walked up to the table and I started telling everyone that I was interviewing someone who was in the know about Muggsy's Corner. Right.
Specifically Muggsy's Corner, yeah.
So I'm putting down money on it and I'm asking questions of people playing this, things like that. What do you think of it? Blah, blah, blah. And, I put down my money to play it and I do my little sneaky picture they don't want me to take, but I take anyway. And I start talking about it more. And one of the guys who's talking to me about it, I explained to him that I'm interviewing you. And he says, I got a buddy here at the other end of the table. He's been working as a dealer at this casino for a while and he's got a game idea for craps. So I started yelling at him across the table before I realized I was being inappropriately loud and calmed down. And once I settled down, we got his information. And so he wanted to submit a question that we really think kicks off this conversation quite nicely. So his question to us was, I've got an idea for a crap side bet. The house edge is over 15%. I've discussed it with many players who are all intrigued by the game. What would the process be for bringing this side bet game to market? Where would you start with someone like that?
first email me at heather@vegas-aces.com and I'll get you started. So we usually do a new client meeting where we discuss where you are in the process, where you want to go, how we can get you there. And then we walk through the actual process of developing your game and getting it onto the casino floor. What I would tell this person in particular is it's good that it's a side bet, because typically when you have a new game, they put it in a carnival pit. The only time that that doesn't happen is if it's a side bet. So Lucky Ladies on blackjack. The guy that invented Muggsy's Corner had another side bet on roulette called 2Gs, where it pays 350 to 1. That's another example, or Muggsy's Corner is a good example. If it's a side bet on a core game, it's a lot easier to get that through because they already have that game in the casino. They're not losing any money. They're only adding to it. So casinos are more interested in side bets on core games than they are on the full game in the carnival pit.
Gotcha.
The other thing is 15% is pretty big.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
I know proposition bets have larger house edges. Craps is one of those games where it shouldn't work, but it does work.
Okay.
So if you were inventing a game today and you invented craps, there's no way you could get it in any casino.
Yeah.
It's like it just would not happen. It's too big. It's too complicated. The proposition bets have too large of a house edge. But it's there and it works and it's not going anywhere. Typically with house edges, you want it. 15% is very volatile. They don't want volatile. Volatile is something that has a very large payout, but only hits once every year, once every 2 years.
Okay.
They like something more like blackjack, which is more of a stable house edge. It's a lower house edge where the player wins every other hand type of a thing. And the reason why is because that game is more likely to keep the player in their seat for a longer period of time, which means more money for the casino.
More theoretical.
So what you're shooting for is you're shooting for a house edge between 2 and 4%.
Got it.
If it's larger than 7%, typically it's too high for someone to bring that house edge in.
What's the house edge on some of the more common carnival games, such as, I don't know, what were we talking about? Caribbean Stud, is that right?
Yeah.
We had a whole list.
Ultimate Texas Hold'em.
Yeah. On those sorts of games, what's the house edge on those typically run?
Let It Ride is 3.51%. 3-card poker on the ante and the play, it's 3.37%. On the pair plus, it's 7.28%. Super Fun 21 is 0.94%, which blackjack is 0.5% roughly, depending on the rules and also how you play.
Right.
Caribbean Stud, what you were just saying, is 5.22%. So it just depends.
Yeah.
We were off.
Yeah, I was a little off. I say what, 16% or something like that?
You said it was like 16%.
For a 3-card poker.
We thought, well, this felt right in line with that.
Yeah.
Okay. He did. I think he mentioned that the odds on the bet were longer, like, I don't know, 10 to 1 or whatever. In that situation, if it is a longer odds with a higher payout, that's still not something that they would be as interested in from the outset.
Well, with a 15% house edge, you're looking at odds more like 1,000 to 1 type of a thing.
Oh, wow.
If it's more than 300 to 1, you have to worry about taxes.
Yeah.
But typically, when you have a higher house edge, it's more volatility, which means the payout's larger, but it once a year, or once every 2 years.
Maybe it was 5%. Maybe we were wrong. Maybe he fat dialed it. I don't know.
Who knows?
Well,
this is why.
the math?
This is why we're going to connect Charlie and Heather, and they're going to be on their way about figuring this out.
That's exactly it. We
Exactly.
can put him in touch with her, and then Heather
absolutely.
can take it from there. So, Heather, once you have those conversations with them, and let's say you meet with them, and the game does meet your general expectations, what's the next step in the process that you go through with the client?
I tell them that they need to start a business. They need to have an LLC because there is a big risk in inventing a casino game. It takes a lot of money, depending on whether they want to put it in an online casino or on the casino floor in a land-based casino. It could take anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 to get their game on the casino floor. The reason why it's so much money is because not only do you go through the development, but once you show it to the casino manager, they typically say something like, yeah, we really like your game, but can you change this and can you change that? And, can you have a lower payout? And so then you have to go through everything again. You have to go through the math again. You have to go through the developmental phase again, changing the layouts. So you have version 2, version 3, version 4, that type of a thing that adds a lot of money to it. And it is extremely hard to get your game in front of a casino manager. So what people typically do is they go to conventions. And these conventions, you're talking, not only are you talking about hotel and your airfare and getting the game into the convention, paying someone to deal the game. You have to pay for electricity when you're there. I mean, all of these things add up. Yeah, you have to pay for Wi-Fi. It's really crazy.
The electricity seems unfair. That seems unfair.
And it's so expensive.
Right? Yeah.
It is so expensive too.
Yeah, I kind of want to go to a trade show though for this. That sounds like fun. Obviously, these are in Vegas, right? What is it?
Yeah, G2E in October.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay,
I've heard of that one.
And if you go to just the exhibit hall and you don't do any of the talks, you could get in for free.
Oh my gosh,
that could be fun.
I like free.
But to get your game in one of these conventions, you're talking about $10,000.
I gotcha. And you really got to sell this thing, right?
And this is all risk at this point. None of this is a guarantee after you've invested all this money.
Exactly. And the other thing is, you're not selling your game to a casino. You're renting your game to a casino. So when you rent your game to a casino for a full-size game, they're paying you $500 per month or $250 per month if it's a side bet.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does this then become profitable for the game inventor?
Exactly. And that's what we tell our game inventors at the very beginning. One of the easier ways to get it on the casino floor is extremely difficult. And then you're not making very much money. One of the easier ways to go about it is to sell your game to an online casino. Because if you sell your game to an online casino, they pay you between $15,000 and $25,000 for your game. But then you wipe your hands from it and you have no say in the matter of what happens after it. So they could shelve your game and you can't do anything about it. There's no sharing. Yeah, there's no sharing profits. It's not like, oh, you give me 10% of the profits and you keep it. It doesn't work like that.
So in your opinion, how hard is it to get a game from there to in an online casino for under 20 grand?
Much, much easier.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. So you're saying the profitability is still feasible on that side of it?
Yeah, you could invent, if you know what you're doing, you can invent a game for under $5,000 and then sell it and make a profit.
Gotcha. And we're talking like real money online casinos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. Interesting.
So we could brand a Good JuJu game and get it on, right? The wheels are already turning, are they not? A Good JuJu game. That sounds great.
Love it.
Okay. So then that answers our question then. The casino pays for that.
They're renting the game.
Why does anyone even chase the dream of the casino floor game then, Heather?
Well, some people don't need money.
They're just they're doing it to get the game, and that's why they're doing it primarily.
Yeah, I've had so many clients who have made it rich, done, made the money, done what they want to do, and this is a dream of theirs.
Oh, I love it.
I love that. So it's almost more like there's the investor side of it on the one side, and there's more the hobbyist side of it on the other side of it. Correct?
Correct.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's like, why do we do this podcast? Well, because we're rich. We don't know what else to do with our time.
All right. How are you feeling about this? Are you feeling pretty good about our understanding of this?
I am. I'm nervous to talk to Charlie. A little sticker shock, right?
We're just going to send him the episode. We'll let our friend Charlie listen to this, Heather, and then he'll make his own decisions on what he wants to do. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
All right. Any other advice or any other general thoughts that you had in the realms of creating your own casino game?
More than we have time to discuss.
Yeah, you probably got your own show about that, right? Yeah.
Well, when I do a new client meeting, it's like literally an hour for a new client meeting because I'm just telling them so much information,
Yeah.
and then they have questions, and then it's usually, they come back with like 50 million other questions and everything, and it's a large process. It's a long, large, complicated process.
I can't believe it. You're talking about one, just negotiating with casino executives and trying to sell this thing, but then like on top of that, you got the gaming commission and all of that. It sounds like a fun thing to do, right? Like, let's dream up a gambling game. That sounds like the awesome part, right?
You've got to do this because you want to chase this.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
That's my takeaway here.
I think so. I think you're right.
That's really interesting. Okay. Do you mind if we ask you a couple of questions here, just in the general theme? You have quite the history yourself as a casino dealer, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we are two individuals who really enjoy going to the casino. We enjoy interacting with the dealers. By and large, we have a ton of great experiences when we have positive interactions with the dealers. It's better for everyone involved, in our opinion. Do you have any general advice for social gamblers such as ourselves when interacting with dealers to, make sure that everyone's having a good time?
Please don't blame the dealer for your losses. They can't control the cards just as much as you can't control the cards. And dealers want their players to win. If their players win, the dealers get tipped.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for the dealer to want someone to lose unless the guy is just kind of an ass, like then I can see that. But usually no, they want their players to win. So be nice to your dealers, tip your dealers, and know that they want you to win just as much as you want to win.
Is it true that I can be too chatty at a table?
So
boy.
every dealer and every player is different. You have the dealers that are more silent, and you have the dealers that are more chatty that like that. You also have players who don't like dealers to talk. And then you have other players who want the dealers to entertain them. So then you have the dealer-tainers who do impressions and that type of a thing. The hardest part is just finding the dealer that jives with you.
Yeah. I just want a nice, friendly dealer who doesn't mind a good conversation while we're playing.
Yeah, let's hang out, right?
Yeah, we're just here to hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, I wish Jolly St. Vic could have heard this.
He's the one who needs to learn that.
I definitely had to back him off of a blackjack table at the plaza. I'm like, dude, you gotta go. He was furious.
What about when we enter a casino? Do you have any recommendation or advice to help us maximize our experience when going to a casino in general? Any recommendations or anything?
Two things that stick out in my mind. Have a bankroll. Having a bankroll is very important. You're there to be entertained. You're not there to pay your rent. So know how much you want to lose. And if you lose that, walk away. Don't chase your losses, because that is the worst thing in the world that you could do, is try to chase your losses. And the other thing is luck. This is all about luck. Sometimes you have lucky streaks. Sometimes you have unlucky streaks. If you're having unlucky streaks, walk away from the table. Put it down, come back another day. So here's a good math lesson. This is going to be a short that we have coming up on our YouTube channel. So I'll just give it to you here right now. Luck is a combination of three things. So it's science, math, and psychology. The science is space and time. You have to be at the right place at the right time. The math is, if you take a coin and you flip that coin over and over again, like 100 times, what happens? And a lot of math teachers do this with their students, and they can find out who actually did the assignment and who didn't based on the answers of what comes up. So if you have a student that is giving you something that is, heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, tails, that they completely, fake the assignment. But if you have a student that gives you something that is heads, 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 tails, 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 they actually did the assignment. Statistical fluctuation, that's the word I'm trying to think of. So there's always going to be streaks. And it doesn't matter what happened before. That doesn't, gambler's fallacy. What happened before doesn't indicate what's going to happen in the future. So if you know that you're having a lucky streak, play big. If you know that you're having an unlucky streak, walk away from the table. And whatever you do, for the love of God, don't go up to a roulette table and be like, hey, look at all the red. Black is definitely going to hit next. Because I guarantee you, black will not hit next.
So Doc Breezy was correct earlier in the
Yeah,
episode.
there
She
you
said
go.
the same thing. They said their system was to watch for a dealer who's spinning a lot of reds and then go bet red. But I suspect that's no better of a system than any other system at roulette because it's the exact same probability.
Yeah, exactly. What happened before does not indicate what's going to happen on future spins. And you would not believe how much money the casinos made after putting up that board on a roulette table.
Yeah.
You know, like their profits jumped so much because of that board. The third thing with luck is psychology. So what you see as good or bad luck, it varies. So for example, if you, and I'm sorry, but this is from a woman's point of view. If you get your hair done, if you get your makeup done, if you dress up, if you're going to go out and you're looking forward to it and you're all excited and then they call and they cancel, you might see that as bad luck. You know, if you are like, screw the hair, screw the makeup, I don't feel like going out tonight, and then they call and cancel, you're like, oh, that's fantastic luck. I didn't want to go out anyway. So your perception really matters. The same event happened, but your perception was different, and that, you know, caused it to be, you know, good luck versus bad luck. So psychology is also a big thing.
You nailed that one. That's a great one, Heather. We're going to put that in our back pockets. And I'm going to drop that on somebody in the future. I promise.
Love it.
Heather, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. You can find all of Heather's content at vegas-aces.com. Folks, check her out. If you have any game ideas, we highly recommend it. Look for the digital side if you're going for profit, though, right? The online casinos. That's what we learned. Heather, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on. I had such a great time talking with you guys.
What did you bet on at the Paradise? Anything?
Absolutely. Oh no, I did.
Slot
I
machine?
did. Kurt, Peter, and I did a slot pull.
Yeah, slot poll.
What do you think of slot polls, Chris?
I'm gonna be honest. They make me nervous. I'm gonna hit the button wrong and lose.
Yeah, right. You
Yeah.
hit the button.
Sometimes I got the touch, and sometimes I don't.
Would you guys play now that there's no Sky Wheel?
We went and tried the replacement.
Oh, at the same
game at
spot?
the Yeah, it's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
the Grand Mini.
Just like little coins in a
Yeah, it's just
jelly roll or
it's way
something.
worse.
Yeah.
It's way worse.
We did not win.
I do have a question. Do you believe when you do group slot polls that it's everyone else's fault when we lose? Do you think you have a real? You think you're down? You think you're net negative? What?
Me personally?
Yeah. What do you?
Oh no, I'm net up.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
I don't blame anyone else. I think I bring the good juju.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Of course. There you go.
So you're saying that even though we lose every time, you're net up, we're all net down. How do we get the good juju into everyone else then?
I'm gonna have to think on that one.
All right.
We're just going to let her push the button next time, see what happens.